Hello and welcome to No Filter with Dhanya Rajendran. In the last two episodes, I brought you two ground reports. One from Chennai, where thousands of families have been protesting for weeks against ammonia gas leak from the Coromandel International. The protests are actually still going on. In the second ground report, I took you to Idukki district of Kerala, where a 5-year-old's family is still fighting for justice as the man accused of raping and murdering her in the year 2021 has been let free by a court. In this week's episode, I talk to you about politics. Nitish Kumar is already out of the India alliance. Mamata Banerjee has made it very clear that she is unhappy. According to many reports, even Arvind Kejriwal and Sharad Pawar are not exactly too happy. So where did the India alliance go wrong? What do all the partners of the India alliance think? We'll discuss this and more in this episode of No Filter with Dhanya Rajendran. Before I go any further, let me remind you that media like the News Minute continues to operate and bring you important stories because of our subscribers. It is with their support that we continue to report. So, do become a subscriber of the News Minute, support us and also get access to all our exclusive content behind paywall, our podcasts, videos and more. To understand what went wrong with the India alliance, first we need to look at what transpired in all the meetings. The first meeting took place on 23rd June 2023 at Patna, where 15 opposition parties came together. After the meeting, DMK leader M.K. Stalin said that this was a war cry of the opposition for the rebirth of a secular, democratic India.
மக்களாட்சியை, மதச்சார்பின்மையை, பன்முகத்தன்மையை, ஒடுக்கப்பட்ட மக்களை, ஏழை எளிய மக்களை காப்பாற்ற வேண்டுமானால் பாஜக மீண்டும் ஒரு முறை ஆட்சிக்கு வரக்கூடாது என்பதில் அனைத்து கட்சிகளும் மிக தெளிவாக இருக்கிறோம்.
So everyone was charged up, they came together, but there was a problem. The Congress at that time said they did not want to talk about seat sharing. Now why was this problematic? That's because the India Alliance or India Bloc has lots of regional parties and the Congress, and there are a couple of states where the regional parties cannot work with each other. There are states where the regional parties cannot work with the Congress. But they did not want to speak about this at all in the beginning. Which are these states? Take Kerala for instance. The CPIM and the Congress, which are both part of the India bloc, can never have any sort of seat sharing in Kerala. The same is the story in West Bengal, where the Trinamool Congress cannot work with the CPIM. At the same time, the Trinamool Congress can work with the Congress. So in June, the Congress decided they will not speak about seat sharing. So let me add that in the first meeting itself, Nitish Kumar and Mamata Banerjee did insist that seat sharing talks should happen, but they did not. Now on to the second meeting, which happened in July 2023 in the city of Bengaluru. This is a meeting where the name India Alliance was announced, so there was a lot of celebration around it. Now here too, some of the allies asked, why don't we begin the seat sharing talks? One of the allies I spoke to said that the reason became apparent in the Bengaluru meeting that the Congress wanted to stall these talks till December. That's because the Congress was waiting for results from the 5 assembly elections from Telangana, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan, Chhattisgarh and Mizoram. So everyone thought, okay fine, let's wait for those results. Then the third meeting happened in August 2023. By then there was some impatience, but they decided that in the resolutions they will write that seat sharing talks will happen as soon as possible. According to a couple of sources I spoke to, there was a spat between Sitaram Yechuri of the CPIM and Abhishek Banerjee of the Trinamool Congress at that very meeting. That's because Abhishek Banerjee asked, what is the meaning of ASAP or as soon as possible? We have to give a date. But Sitaram Yechuri insisted that a date cannot be given. Now on to the next meeting, which happened on December 19, 2023, after the election results were announced. Congress had won only Telangana and none of the other states. So at this meeting, it is suddenly decided that the talks have to happen on seat sharing. But by then, there is another problem. Who will become the convener of the India Alliance? Most TV channels, especially Hindi and English channels, had been asking by then, who will lead the India Alliance? Is there no consensus for the India Alliance? Is the India Alliance falling apart? So there was a lot of pressure on the alliance. This is where Mamata Banerjee and Arvind Kejriwal stepped in, and they made it clear publicly and privately that Nitish Kumar was not acceptable to them as the convener. In fact, one source told me that Arvind Kejriwal made a list of 58 seats where he felt that the alliance could win because of Kharge. This list included around 20 seats from Karnataka. That's a state from where Mallikarjun Kharge hails from. He is a Dalit leader from Karnataka. Arvind Kejriwal's list also had a few other seats from the rest of the country where he felt there was substantial Dalit population and Kharge could influence the results. So Arvind Kejriwal made this list, he gave it to Mamata Banerjee, and both of them presented this and also said this is the reason why Kharge should become the convener of the India Alliance. They wanted to keep Nitish Kumar out. By then, seat sharing talks had also slowly begun, but it was becoming clear that definitely there cannot be an understanding between the TMC and the CPIM, but there could also not be any understanding between the TMC and the Congress, as Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary, the Congress leader in West Bengal, was against it. The last India bloc meeting happened in the second week of January. That was the meeting in which Mallikarjun Kharge was officially announced as the convener of the alliance. But the happy news was short-lived because within a few days, we saw Mamata Banerjee giving statement after statement saying that we are not for any seat-sharing talks. And then a few days later, Nitish Kumar walked out of the alliance. Now, the Congress's version is that it is Mamata Banerjee who did not want to have any talks either with the Congress or with the CPIM. All said and done, Nitish Kumar has walked out, Mamata Banerjee is unhappy. So now let's look at what really went wrong with the India alliance. The first and the most important problem is the problem of mistrust. Let's begin with Nitish Kumar. Many of the allies, including the DMK, Mamata Banerjee and Arvind Kejriwal, felt right from the beginning that Nitish Kumar won't stay for long, and that's exactly what happened. So this mistrust did also play in the meetings. Nitish Kumar wanted to be the convener, the others did not want. There was one meeting in which there was a spat when Nitish Kumar lost his cool and said that everything that is being spoken in Hindi cannot be translated into English. That's when parties from Tamil Nadu like MDMK, DMK and VCK objected. In fact, Mallikarjun Kharge made an intervention and said that for these allies, we have to translate every speech in Hindi to English. So Nitish Kumar finally left the alliance and all the others are saying, we told you so. The other problem is that the TMC feels that the CPIM, in particular, CPIM leader Sitaram Yechury, has an undue influence on the Congress, and a lot of things that Congress decides is according to what Sitaram Yechury wants. The Congress, on the other hand, believes that political analyst Prashant Kishore has a lot of influence on Mamata Banerjee, and Prashant Kishore has been asking her to either stay away from the alliance fully or at least partially, not to have seat sharing talks. The second problem is the lack of communication or miscommunication. The first example I can give you is, of course, on seat sharing. Everyone knows that there cannot be seat sharing between the CPIM and the TMC in West Bengal, the CPIM and the Congress in Kerala, and there are some problems similar to this in some other states. This could have been made clear in the first meeting of the alliance itself and even to the media. Now, by not communicating this directly, the alliance put a few state leaders in a spot of inconvenience where they were confronted by the media each time with questions like, why were the seat sharing talks not happening? And if it did, how would these parties react? The second example, of course, is when the India Alliance put out a list of anchors that they would boycott. It was a very controversial decision, but they went ahead and published a list and said, we will stay away from these anchors who they term as Godi media. But very soon we saw members of the India Alliance, in fact including senior leaders like Kamal Nath, give interviews to people from this list. So what was the point of this list? Why was that not communicated to all the partners in the India Alliance and particularly senior leaders? So when people in the alliance do not follow the decisions, then it does look like mayhem. The next problem is the Congress's inability to ensure that its own senior leaders do not speak against allies. Take Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary for example. He is a senior leader of the Congress and he's been going all out against Mamata Banerjee and Abhishek Banerjee. This does not look well for the alliance at all. In fact, things have gone so badly that the TMC has now alleged that Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary has some secret understanding with the BJP to ensure that he wins at least his seat, and for that he is continuously attacking the TMC. The Congress now has to make a decision. Is having allies like the TMC in the alliance important for them? Then how will they convince their leaders like Adhir Ranjan Chaudhary that they cannot attack allies within the India bloc. Finally, the Congress has to decide what this alliance is all about. Is it a brand building exercise for the party and particularly for Rahul Gandhi, or is this really about winning elections? It's just a few months left for the elections, and the Ram Temple inauguration in Ayodhya has given the BJP a huge boost. But that's not reason enough for the opposition to now sit back and say we have lost the elections. This is in fact the time to sit and talk about seat sharing at a war footing, to decide candidate lists, to look at which are the seats which can be comfortably won, which are the seats where they have slender margins and they have to ramp up the campaigning. But at the time when all this should be happening at a really fast pace, Rahul Gandhi is on a yatra. So most of these things will have to wait. Now to the last part of the show, what do members of the India bloc think? If you were to look at Hindi and English channels and even a few newspapers, you would believe that the India bloc is completely in shatters and all the alliance partners are wanting to leave the alliance. But that's not true. A lot of alliance partners have not conceded defeat, and they believe that if they can work on the numbers, there is still a chance. This includes parties like the DMK. Many of them tell me that they are simply looking at the arithmetic, that in states like Karnataka, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Rajasthan and even Uttar Pradesh, if the alliance can win 10 to 15 seats in all these states, then it can make a difference. One example that the India alliance and particularly the Congress can learn from is from the BJP itself. From a party that won just 2 seats in 1984 to winning majority in 2014 and 2019, the BJP has fought for 3 decades. Many times people have predicted that the party has been decimated, but the BJP always fought back. There are 2 instances in India's past where coalitions went ahead to form the government. But in both these instances, there were strong narratives, first against Indira Gandhi and then against Rajiv Gandhi. What the India alliance clearly lacks now is a strong narrative against the BJP. But the one narrative that they should be really scared of is that they have conceded defeat. Well, that's all from me in this episode of No Filter with Dhanya Rajendran. Do tune in next week and remember to subscribe to the News Minute and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you.